Game time decisions for three key players for the Philadelphia 76ers. We're here to talk about a 6 o'clock start in South Philly. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers Pregame Show, live from the Xfinity studio, along with Rich. I'm Devon. Jules in the seat today producing. Appreciate Jules hanging with us, and all of you in the chat. Hope you're having a great weekend. We are presented by Bet365, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Make sure you check in a little bit later as we try to pick up another win in our Bet365 pregame picks. We'll talk about the starters shortly once they're dropped. Jared McCain has been playing really well. 20-point effort on Friday against the Brooklyn Nets in a win. Could he be back? Could he be all the way back? We'll discuss that with Rich and you. And also, let's just get started right away. Could it be, after 9 games for Joel Embiid on the bench, after 3 games for VJ Edgecombe, and a scary hyperextension on Friday night against the Nets, Andre Drummond, could it be that they all are in the lineup tonight against the Atlanta Hawks, the 12-8 Atlanta Hawks led by Jalen Johnson? Rich, a little surprising to see, questionable, upgraded for both, especially VJ Edgecombe and Joel Embiid, but also Andre Drummond.
Well, I don't know about Andre Drummond, Devon, but we got some breaking news now, man.
Uh-oh.
From Kyle Neubeck himself.
Could it be?
The Sixers say that Joel Embiid and VJ Edgecombe will play tonight.
Oh,
hey,
look at that.
How about
Look
that?
at that.
Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that changes things, right? That makes our Sunday night a little more fun than
Yes, it does.
some of our past Sunday nights have been.
Yes, it does.
That's great. And I mean, they're the starting lineup. I know that's the third thing in our segment, but we might as well just say them now. They're going with Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Paul George, Dominic Barlow, and Joel Embiid. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. First of all, this is the first time we get to see the trio this season of Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey, and certainly with VJ Edgecombe,
How many
times
did we see them last year?
15.
Saw them only 15 times.
15 times. 15 times. And they didn't finish all the games together because Joel Embiid got tossed out of one. I think he was injured in another. He had to leave that game. So the first time this season, we get to see the trio of all-stars and former all-stars, but all-stars on this basketball team, and VJ Edgecombe in the lineup with Dominic Barlow. Your initial reaction, everybody, send it to us in the chat. This is a good Atlanta Hawks team at 12-8. They're only 1 game up on the Sixers in the Eastern Conference standings. They are very, very fun, entertaining, good basketball team without Trae Young. But this is big for the Sixers. As you said, this makes our Sunday night much more interesting.
I'll tell you the big thing, man. I'm just excited to watch the offense. It's been a slog for about 3 weeks now. And part of it is that I love Andre Drummond. I love Dom Barlow. I love all of these guys that have soaked up these minutes. I think they have done a good job and played hard. But the big thing to me is that Joel Embiid provides them some modern floor spacing. And this isn't even Joel Embiid. We don't even need Joel Embiid's MVP level or anything like that. Just a guy that, with this handoff-heavy offense that Nick Nurse has, a guy that has legitimate gravity that the defense cannot leave. And now you pair him with Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, and VJ Edgecombe, another guy who can get downhill. And I expect a much more modern offense than we have seen over the past few weeks. And I think that's in large part because they have modern personnel for this game. I mean, I think, Devon, when you look at Joel's numbers on the season, now they're a little bit skewed because, as you remember, that first week when he played most of his games, it was all offense. It was no defense at that point. It's really kind of been no offense and a little bit of defense since then. Sixers kind of hanging on by the skin of their teeth in these games. But Joel Embiid, the Sixers offense, has been the best this season when he is on the court so far. So, and the defense struggled, but let's hope that the defensive strides that they have made in the past few weeks, and they have gotten better on that end of the court, show up. But I'm just excited, even if it's for 20, 25 minutes, to have Joel Embiid spacing the floor, facilitating from the high post. I think this offense can be a lot better than what we've seen.
No, it's going to be good to see this out there because, to your point, you said this before of how good they were when he was out there and they were running things both through he and Maxey. We've seen it a few times where it kind of got in the way of forcing the issue with Joel Embiid out there, especially that end of the game situation against the Chicago Bulls on the road where they blew that 20-plus point lead and eventually losing that one where he had to come back in around 7 minutes remaining in the game. But for the most part, though, they have been really good. Defensively, he's still not that great. So I'm curious to see what the two-way ability looks like now with Joel Embiid tonight. But offensively, he certainly opens up so much more for him. And with Jared McCain back, which we'll get to in the next segment, with Jared McCain back, that'll also help out things there where you have a legit catch-and-shoot opportunity for Jared McCain. And we've seen Paul George play pretty well here.
Was off the injury report all weekend, too.
Yes.
That was good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Friday off, Saturday, little practice, and still good to go with no knee, no ankle issue. To have Paul George out there as a catch-and-shoot option as well as Jared McCain, this is going to be big. So just your thoughts, though, on the defensive end for Joel Embiid, because this team, the Atlanta Hawks, likes to get up and down the floor.
Yeah. No Porzingis, which is, I think, good because that Porzingis is able to stretch him out as we saw in Boston. But yeah, a team that can get up and down the floor. No Trae Young, which I think is, again, I think that the Hawks have played pretty well without Trae Young. But Trae Young, as we saw in that 2021 series, he puts a lot of pressure on Joel's knee with guarding the pick and roll and whether they guard him at the 3-point line or play that cat and mouse game when he's going downhill. Jalen Johnson, just unbelievable, like how well he has played so far this season. I mean, he's just been one of the breakout stars of the NBA. So I'm not expecting a ton from Joe, to be honest with you, on the defensive end. I'm more just, can we get 20 minutes of him and the ball moving around on the perimeter, all of those things on offense. So look, the defensive end, I think he's probably going to take it easy. As Kyle mentioned to us, just to add more to the pregame for Joel tonight, he started with a bunch of short step back jumpers, and he was sort of working out that right knee, which is, again, it's different, right? He's, for most of this past year and a half, it's been, okay, the left knee, right? How is that going to be able to fare? So I'm curious to see how he moves because, planting on that right knee is a different challenge for him as well. But even if he's not very good on defense, it's fine, man. Like just make some jumpers, move the ball. I think he can provide a positive spark for the Sixers.
Most importantly, this also just opens things up for Tyrese Maxey. Maxey has been phenomenal. We talked about the 54 on the road against Milwaukee and that overtime win, what he has been able to do to keep this team in those games against Orlando, riding that 2-game losing streak before the Brooklyn game on Friday. They end that skid there. He only has 22, but he doesn't have to be Superman. He didn't need to put on the cape. He got so much help from Jared McCain, Quentin Grimes in that matchup as well. Andre Drummond goes down early, but you get a really good Adem Bona outing after he got through all the foul trouble. Dominic Barlow playing the Dominic Barlow role of just doing all the dirty work and cleaning up some of the mess that may be out there, getting out there for the 50-50 balls and what he contributes to this team. And you just got a total team effort against a bad Brooklyn team. So we often talk about, and we did even on Friday night, a get-right game. Now that you got that out of the way and you're right back into it, all right, you're feeling good, you're at home, and you get this boost. You get this boost of energy of two players in particular, in Edgecombe and Embiid back out there on the floor. Maybe this is when we do see them get off to a pretty good start, a really good first quarter. Yes, this is going to be the first time in 9 games that Embiid plays in 3 for VJ Edgecombe, but with all of that said, there is that natural energy infusion of something like that when you know you have two of your key starters back into the lineup and you can just run them out there and get to work. So I am curious to see how the start is, if they do have, because of the minutes restriction, but if Embiid does get a little fatigued quicker than usual, and he does have to sit on maybe call his number around the 7-minute mark to sit him down and bring in, we still don't know about Drummond or yet.
So I didn't see this, but Al, our buddy, the 2-minute warning, says that Drum is also available.
Which is after seeing that hyperextension and him leaving on in that wheelchair, that was pretty good. To now know that he can play basketball and not have to sit out any games, you get George back and you get those guys back on on Friday night, and then you lose Drummond, and you're like, see, here we go again, where you get these players back into the lineup and they take away. Now you get 3 players back, and now you're just waiting for Kelly Oubre for whenever it is his turn to come back. Could we start to see? Could we see at some point? When? Jules, we're ready for some footage. If you want to throw some footage up there of Joel Embiid shooting on the court, because Kyle, as Rich laid out, sent us some information. Here's some video, everybody, as you check in with us. If you're just checking in, getting here a little bit late, Joel Embiid, VJ Edgecombe, and Andre Drummond all active tonight. Here's some pregame work from Joel Embiid, courtesy of Kyle Neubeck. They're courtside getting this footage. A lot of stationary stuff, cool. Yeah. That's where he lives, though. That's where he's supposed to live.
Not a lot of defensive movement. That's okay. It's just a warm-up. Yeah, so even, let's just say he plays the first 5 minutes of every quarter. That's huge, man. Andre Drummond's playing 35, 36 minutes a game, and if he's available, and by the way, because Drum has been such a soldier, I'm going to be like Bart Simpson and say, I will not make a Paul Pierce joke. I will not make a Paul Pierce joke with the wheelchair. But it's great to see Drum back because honestly, man, I was feeling pretty bad after the Eagles game the other night. It's like, all right, Sixers, they got to win this game. I know they're like comically shorthanded against Brooklyn. And then Drum goes down. It's like, oh no, now Drum is out after he's playing his best basketball of the past 2 years. So good to see him back on the court. Yeah, man, if they can just split the minutes up tonight, like if Joel could even ramp it up and you get 24-24 from those two guys, that is such a bonus on what they have been dealing with, right? And having to go small with Barlow and Walker. So that is really good. And I think we should also mention too, like the Sixers team has missed VJ Edgecombe.
Yes, they have.
Over the past few games. And the thing I miss, man, is just rim pressure. Like, I know it doesn't always work, right? Sometimes he jumps from too far. Sometimes teams overplay his right hand. He's got to work on getting to that left hand a little bit. He will in time, by the way. It's a rookie type of thing there. That injection of athleticism and the ability to play a bunch of minutes. Maybe he was playing too many minutes under Nick Nurse, but a guy who can play 30-plus minutes and not really break a sweat. Good to see that they were pretty careful, it seemed like, with his injury. You saw him and Embiid shooting around after the game in Brooklyn the other night, sort of those two.
Behind him, McCain getting interviewed, right?
Yeah. As they were joking around with him. I would imagine VJ probably thought he could play in that game, but the Sixers were like, look, calf injury, we've been playing you too many minutes. We got to pay the piper a little bit here and just be careful with this one. So good to see that VJ's out there as Julia puts up a little more on Joel, which,
moving around a little further out now.
That's all I need, baby. That's all I need.
Check out the kicks, by the way, Rich. Those are the new Joel 1s, courtesy of Skechers, his signature shoe.
So you notice those things and I don't.
Yes, they debuted.
I'm wearing a couple Air Maxes that are squishy because
I have some Air Maxes on myself, but
the pump is or whatever the thing on the bottom is the
air bubble.
The air bubble at the bottom, whatever. I just called it the pump. I'm an idiot. I don't know anything about shoes.
It's all good.
It's all good.
What I do know is they did release yesterday in store at our good friends at Lapstone. They had the initial exclusive drop, so people were able to go out there and line
the Skechers?
up. The Skechers,
yeah,
at Lapstone and Hammer, absolutely. Go get your Joel Embiids. I was laughing, making fun of them for releasing this on Saturday. I was like, he's not even playing basketball. It's perfect timing. You know what I mean? But perfect timing. New shoe, everything with Skechers, the Joel Embiid ones, and he's going to debut those tonight because he is in the lineup. When we come back, let's talk a little bit more about the lineup, including Jared McCain and the run that he has been on as of late. 20 points in the last game against the Brooklyn Nets. Can he keep that hot hand going, especially where he can space the floor for all of the players that are back in the lineup for the Sixers? It's the PHLY Sixers Pregame Show. Sixers Hawks coming up. Embiid, Edgecombe, and Drummond all in. We're talking about it right here on this Sunday evening, PHLY Sixers Pregame Show. And our pregame show is presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 90 million users worldwide. Everybody's been a busy last few days, all the way back to Thursday with the Thanksgiving football games. You had a basketball game and two 3 local games all going on here in the area, with the football team the only one disappointing us.
Boo.
We'll talk about that another time. Make sure you tune into the PHLY Birds on Monday for more of that. Early payout offers across the NBA and the NHL. And today you still have some football going on. So the same game parlays that you do have, place qualifying bets totaling $20 or more on Sunday's NFL games, and you get up to $25 in bonus bets. You also have the NBA tipping off throughout the day, a nice schedule of games played there as well. And we hit on this pretty early, everybody, on Friday. Sixers went up big. We got the early payout offer in the NBA, as I told you. So if you want to sign up, new customers, breaking news for you all, bonus bets, $150 you get when you place a $5 bet on a $10 deposit, win or lose. That's right. Sign up using the code PHLY365, deposit $10, place a bet for $5. After you deposit $10 and you get those bonus bets, win or lose. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more, whatever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And guys, the other day, took a drive over to Kyle Neubeck's place. He was pumped to watch some basketball, but his setup was a total mess. So then I drove over to Derek Bodner's place, and he was pumped to watch basketball, but his setup was a total mess too.
Oh, no.
Lagging, buffering, and switching between apps.
I don't know.
Devon wasn't available. Trying to find the game. He claimed he was a big fan, but I felt like I was fanfish. See, if you call yourself a basketball fan, you gotta have our friends at Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. I can find the best games and my favorite teams all in one place, and the way that I watch, it's next level. It's the perfect fan flex. I've got all the action right there in my living room, plus Xfinity's best picture and sound with enhanced 4K, so clear that it feels like I am in Xfinity Mobile Arena. Sometimes, guys, I got 4 games going at once because why not? And on top of that, I get real-time notifications and live stats right there on my TV. It's the best seat in the house every time. So next game day, make sure those big fans are not a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box.
We're back here on the PHLY Sixers Pregame Show presented by Bet365. Rich, Devon, Julia hanging out with us, all of you. Thanks for hanging in the chat. Guys at the arena will check in with Kyle after the game to get his thoughts on what took place as the Sixers take on the 12-8 Hawks led by Jalen Johnson. Before we went to the break, Rich, you were going to say something else before I talked about Jared McCain, who has played 9 games. He has looked really good the last few, but before you lose your train of thought on whatever you wanted to get to, we'll get to Jared McCain here shortly. What were you thinking?
We always talk about the portions of schedules where you got to clean up, where you got to get your wins, because there's going to be West Coast trips and there's going to be stretches where the Sixers are without a bunch of players. There's been already a few of them so far this year. This could be this is the key game in this stretch because they're going to play Washington next. Look, I don't guarantee the Sixers can beat anybody. That's a game you should win. That team has been bad. You're going to play them at home. And then on Thursday, you get Golden State without Steph Curry. And they can't score without Steph Curry. I actually watched their game. Excuse me, man. I watched their game the other night and against New Orleans. And their half-court offense is just not great. I mean, it's a lot of Jimmy Butler and kind of hope on some of these three-pointers. So, could he get 4 in a row? If you're able to win this game, this is the best team they are going to play in that stretch. Can they get this win? I'm happy that they have Joel and VJ and they have Jared playing well also too. So we'll see.
Good call by you, because I forgot about the Steph Curry injury as Golden State comes to town. That's going to be big. I was watching them last night as they were playing in that cup game, and you could see the difference of Steph Curry not being out there. It
was not a pretty game.
No.
Also, I do think, like, Sixers fans, they talk about sometimes how much of a slog, as I keep using that word slog, but, kind of how congested this Sixers offense can be at times. Maybe watch some other teams without their best players. It's not always awesome. That's all.
All right, one of the good players that have been back for the Sixers. We were curious of when this player would return to form, and over the last 3 games in particular, going back to the 2 losses against Miami and Orlando, Jared McCain logging 26 minutes against Miami, 25 against Orlando, 15 points in each, and he also had 3 assists, 3 assists against Orlando, 2 against Miami. But it was really about Friday where you got to see him just knock down shots, and he looked really, really confident doing so. Not that he didn't with the 15 each in both of those games with the two Florida teams, but against Brooklyn, he came out hot, and he got 10 early in the first half, and it looked like he could have a big night. And while he cooled off just a bit in the third quarter and early in the fourth, he found his shooting touch once again with two big three-pointers to help space the lead out. Against Brooklyn, they walk away with the win. He finishes with 20, Rich. He knocked down 4 threes, had 4 rebounds, played solid defense. He had 5 steals.
5 steals.
To lead
active
the team.
Hands.
Yes, he did. So it wasn't just the shooting and being really active and all of that. He stayed engaged on the defensive end. And that was one of the questions that we were going to have about him and Maxey being out there on the floor. But so far, the early returns in the 9 games, he's looked okay defensively. He's not going to hold you up all the time one-on-one.
No.
But he does. He's a good team defender. He helps out. His active hands, as you pointed out, he would get in the mix of some things to help cause and force some turnovers, and that's exactly what he has done.
He's maximizing his limited skill set, and that's all you can ask of him. He's stuck his. I think the thing that I've been impressed by him, man, it's that he's kind of sticking his nose into some more of the physical areas of the court. Like you see, sometimes he'll crash from the corner, and he actually had a big play the other night. He had a tap out rebound the other night just because he's smallest guy on the court probably, but just has a nose for the ball and gets there. Look, his last 3 games have been very good, and I don't want to say he's all the way back, but I think, is it fair to say he's pretty close to back? Like, again, we have not had, he has the game the other night, he has 20 points. In fairness, that team was really bad. They have, I don't know if they still have the worst defense in the league, Brooklyn, but it's pretty bad. I mean, there's a lot of wide open shots against that team. But just from what we've seen over the last 3 games, which is Jared actually looking more comfortable on drives, looking more comfortable in the mid-range, taking those threes from deep and sort of looking like, the three-point shooter that hunts his shot a little bit. It does feel like he's pretty close, which is great to see, because when he first came back, we said, hey, I hope this is rust. I hope, this is just a long layoff, but he didn't look very good for a few games. They sent him to the G League, worked on a few things. The last 3 games have been, I think, very encouraging from him.
Very, very encouraging. The no dip shots that he took.
That was great. He didn't make it, but that was great. I love those.
And actually, one of them in particular, I think it was the shot clock was running down, so he was kind of forced to throw that one up the way that he did. But it's one player on this basketball team that we know can, in fact, shoot that shot and make it. But he wasn't discouraged when things didn't go his way in the second half. He kept pushing. He had that nice tip away for that one steal to lead to the breakaway layup.
Gets the layup, yep.
And then he follows it up with the 2 3-pointers, as we talk about, to close out the game. So it's really good to see him finding that shooting touch once again. So with that, Rich, and you look at the starting lineup tonight, as you pointed out earlier, Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe in the starting lineup, along with Paul George, Dominic Barlow, and Joel Embiid. This is the closest thing to a regular starting lineup, outside of Kelly Oubre not being there, that we had kind of penciled in for the start of the season. Now you look at the bench, where you do have Grimes and McCain, boom, coming off the bench right there.
Perfect duo. They fit well together, right?
Exactly.
Give Jared the ball. Quentin Grimes, I get that he can be frustrating, and he did some frustrating things in that game against Brooklyn the other night. But
you still needed a scoring, and he got it.
And he kept going, and
yep.
yes. And he's a talented, good player. I think those two fit well together. Just make sure you have Jared run the offense. That's all. But I think that's how you want it, right? VJ has done enough to earn a starting job, and also too, let's be honest, you have more invested in him in the long run. So figuring out the Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe backcourt, that's not just worthwhile for this year. I think that could pay dividends down the road in a few years as well. But yeah, I think having all 4 guards available and healthy, but also having Joel Embiid to play off those guys, if Jared McCain starts the second quarter, that's usually when Tyrese Maxey is sitting. Mm-hmm. If Joel Embiid comes back in that moment, okay, then Quentin Grimes and Jared McCain don't have everything on their shoulders. They can run the offense through Joel. He'll look to play the dribble handoff game with them, and those guys will get more open looks because, look, some of Jared McCain not being able to get to the rim is that he's playing with Andre Drummond, who has played well but is a limited shooter. It's kind of why I want him to take a few more of those threes, because teams do not respect him from beyond the arc. And they're playing guys like Barlow and Walker and these guys who, by the way, have all played really well, but are limited in terms of their shooting and thus the space that guards like Jared McCain have to drive to the basket. Not so with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid will give you that space, whether it comes via screen, via pass, dribble, handoff, whatever. Excited to see that a little bit more. But yeah, Jared, even before Joel came back, was trending in the right direction. And for the Sixers, that's great news because he was like, look, I mean, there was a little bit of a question of how real was that start last year, right? Just because it was such a limited sample size. And there was some worry when he came back. It's like, all right, this guy is just not moving like he did a season ago. Looks like he's trending in the right direction. Feel even more confident that he's going to get back to that level.
Last 5 games overall, 12.6 points per game for Jared McCain off the bench, and increasingly starting to look more and more like himself. So when you look at the backcourt there with those two, then you have Jabari Walker, Andre Drummond is available, Adem Bona, Trendon Watford is not available, but Justin Edwards. So you still have a decent 9-10 man rotation wherever you need to go.
This might be their best rotation of the year.
Yes. And that's where I was going. Looking at the totality of the rotation, starting with the guards, but then having Walker still available along with those other guys, Drummond, Bona, and Edwards. No Watford, so we still have to wait and find out how long he's going to be out. But pretty decent rotation that they're going to have tonight to throw at the Jalen Johnson-led Atlanta Hawks. So with that, let's talk about the Atlanta Hawks quickly, Rich, for about 2 minutes here, because they have Jalen Johnson, who has been phenomenal. He has been phenomenal. He has been on a tear. I was just looking at their Twitter account. Last 10 games, 22.9 points, 10.6 rebounds, 9.2 assists, 1.9 steals. There's one player in the league with those minimums during that time, Atlanta says on their Twitter account, and that's him. Over the last 10 games. No Trae Young. It's been talked about all the way back to the John Collins days where players have been frustrated playing alongside, at least reportedly, frustrated at playing alongside Trae Young. And the only time that they've really won was when they beat the Sixers in that playoff round in round number 2, beat New York, beat Philadelphia, advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals. I know I'd always said that I thought they advanced too soon. And they went about things the wrong way after the fact, and that's where they were. But they've struck it with the length, the athleticism that they now have. Daniels being the first-team all-defender, top 3 defensive player in the league. Rishai Shea is the number 1 overall pick. He may not be good as others, but he's a good player.
He's a good player.
They hit a nice offseason we've discussed. They bring in Kristaps Porzingis and Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who got a really big contract that we talked about Quentin Grimes kind of matching that up with him as we talked about the numbers in the summer. In this starting role, he has been tremendous for the Atlanta Hawks that they has won these games. So 12-8, man, they look really good, really fun.
Especially with Dyson Daniels, who's one of the better guard defenders in the league. It's nice to have Joel, right? Because that is an outlet. Dyson Daniels can play as up on Tyrese Maxey as he wants, but it's a little different. The geometry of the floor is a little bit different. Like Tyrese Maxey he's been getting hounded by these guards, but those guards have had a lot of help behind them. And so Tyrese Maxey, it's not just that you can get past that first guy. It's all right. Can I find somebody else after I see 3 bodies after that? That doesn't exactly happen with Joel Embiid. So I'm happy for this matchup because again, Dyson Daniels, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, they have guys that can pressure Tyrese Maxey. And the other thing to take a little bit of the load off of Tyrese Maxey is that Jared McCain is playing better, right? You can put the ball in his hands. You can get Tyrese more off the ball. That is definitely good to see.
Yep, it absolutely is. So should be a fun one tonight. And therefore, let's get to our final part of the show here, the Bet365 pregame pick segment brought to you by Bet365, whatever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. Rich, I hit on the last one on Friday night, had the Sixers to win the game. Jared McCain to hit 2 threes, and the over-under was 12.5. Give me that over. Took it, and we hit pretty early on that. Here's what we have tonight as a same-game parlay overall. That is 135 for a same-game parlay. Tyrese Maxey to hit his 25 tonight because I think he does, and Jalen Johnson to get a double-double. That's the same-game parlay tonight. For the Sixers and the Hawks. That's a plus 135. Make sure you go and check in on that one if you feel good about it. Maybe you want to adjust some numbers. Maybe take Tyrese down to 20. Maybe that's something along of where you are. Maybe you can do that, where you can do all of that at Bet365. You can also get a 30% profit boost on any game today in the NBA. So go ahead and take advantage of it all right there at Bet365. Whatever the moment's never ordinary at Bet365. Make sure you sign up using the code PHLY365.
Last thing on Jalen Johnson, Paul George is going to see would imagine the bulk of that matchup tonight.
Yeah.
Let's see it, PG. We talked the other day about, remember when Nick Nurse was like, we're going to save his minutes for Jaquez. Well, Nick Nurse, let's get the minutes right tonight and actually have him playing at the same time as Jalen Johnson. And then Paul George, who's been very good on the defensive end so far. Let's see it.
And against the Brooklyn Nets, he played 21 minutes and I think it was 21 seconds. You didn't need any more of that against Brooklyn. You might need more than that tonight against the Atlanta Hawks.
Come on, you're off the injury report. Give me 27 minutes tonight.
That's it. Now, hit the like button on the way out, everybody. We appreciate you hanging with us. 10 minutes after the game goes final, we will be back for the PHLY Sixers postgame show. We'll check in with Kyle. How will Joel Embiid look? What will VJ Edgecombe bring to the table? And can the Sixers knock off this good Atlanta Hawks team who is about to play, I believe they said 5 games in 7 nights? Well, it starts now for them, 5 games in 7 nights. Take down the Hawks. We'll discuss it after the game. For Rich, Julia, I'm Devon. We'll see you after the game talking Sixers and Hawks. Will it be a win? We'll find out after the game right here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. See you then.
We all silly like the mayor.